At first glance, these garden tractors look like nothing more than small machines built for quiet work around the yard. But beneath those compact hoods were engines, drivetrains, and engineering that could surprise even experienced operators. Some were built to pull far beyond their size, while others became legendary for sheer durability. Today, we're counting down 10 garden tractors that were way more powerful than they looked. At first glance, the Simplicity Sovereign 7/16 looks like nothing more than an old lawn tractor. Small, low, and powered by just 16 horsepower, it hardly sounds like a serious machine. But that is exactly why it belongs on this list. The Sovereign 7/16 came from an era when a garden tractor was expected to do much more than cut grass. Its 16 horsepower engine, hydrostatic transmission, and sturdy chassis gave it the versatility to handle jobs like hauling, tilling, and snow removal with the right attachments. And that is what made machines like this so different. Instead of building a tractor around one task, Simplicity built a platform that could accept a range of equipment, swap the mower deck for a snowblower, tiller, or other attachment, and the same little tractor suddenly had a completely different job. Today's 16 horsepower might not sound impressive, but horsepower alone doesn't tell you how capable a garden tractor really is. Weight, gearing, drivetrain design, traction, and attachment capability can matter just as much. The Sovereign 7/16 wasn't pretending to be a full-size farm tractor. It was bringing some of that versatility into the backyard. And remember, this is only number 10. The next tractor takes the mini farm tractor idea even further. John Deere 140 looked like a simple garden tractor, but underneath that familiar green hood was a machine built for much more than mowing grass. Introduced in 1968, the 140 was one of John Deere's most capable garden tractors of its era, powered by a 14 horsepower Kohler engine and a hydrostatic transmission. What made it special was its versatility. The 140 could work with a wide range of attachments, including mower decks, snowblowers, blades, tillers, and other equipment. Certain versions could also be equipped with multiple hydraulic functions, giving the tractor considerably more control than you might expect from something this small. And that was the philosophy behind the 140. John Deere wasn't simply trying to build a riding mower. It was creating a compact machine that could perform different jobs throughout the year. In summer, it could mow. In winter, it could clear snow. Add the right equipment, and it could work the soil or handle other heavy-duty tasks around the property. At just 14 horsepower, the numbers don't sound impressive today, but the 140 proves that horsepower isn't everything. When the chassis, transmission, hydraulics, and attachments are designed properly, a small tractor can accomplish surprisingly big jobs, and we're only at number 9. The next machine takes the garden tractor concept in a completely different direction. Wheelhorse D160 looked like another compact garden tractor, but underneath its simple red body was a drivetrain that made it surprisingly serious. Introduced in the 1970s, the D160 was powered by a 16 horsepower engine and used a hydrostatic transmission driven through a mechanical shaft. That meant there was no conventional drive belt transferring engine power to the transmission, a design choice that helped give the tractor a distinctly heavy-duty character. But the D160 wasn't built just to look tough. It was designed to work with a wide range of attachments, including mower decks, snow equipment, and other implements that could turn the same tractor into a year-round work machine. And this is where the D160 gets interesting. A garden tractor with 16 horsepower doesn't sound impressive on paper. But when you combine that engine with a shaft-driven hydrostatic system, a sturdy chassis, and the right attachment, the little wheel horse could perform jobs far beyond ordinary lawn mowing. It wasn't the biggest garden tractor of its time. It didn't need to be. The D160 was proof that clever engineering could make a small machine feel much bigger than it actually was. And if you think that was impressive, number 7 takes the mini tractor idea even further. The Ford LGT 165 looked like a garden tractor, but underneath its blue body was a frame built to take serious punishment. Powered by a 16 horsepower Kohler engine, the LGT 165 came from an era when garden tractors were expected to do far more than simply cut grass. Its rugged tubular steel frame gave the machine a solid foundation, helping it handle the twisting forces and loads that came with heavier work. And that changed the character of the tractor. Instead of being designed primarily around a mower deck, the LGT 165 could be configured for serious ground-engaging work, the kind of jobs that could make a lightweight lawn tractor struggle. The important part wasn't simply how much horsepower sat under the hood. It was the combination of that engine, a sturdy chassis, and a drivetrain designed to put usable power on the ground. In other words, Ford wasn't trying to make the LGT 165 look like a farm tractor. It was trying to make a small machine work like one. And that's the theme we're seeing more clearly with every tractor on this list. The smaller the machine looks, the more surprising its engineering becomes. But the next tractor doesn't just look like a miniature farm machine. It brings an entirely different kind of engineering to the table. By number 6, these little tractors were starting to look less like lawn equipment and more like real hydraulic machines. The JI Case 444 was powered by a 14-horsepower Kohler engine, but horsepower was hardly its most interesting feature. What made the 444 stand out was its famous high-drive system, a hydraulic drive system that gave this compact tractor a level of control and versatility that was unusual for its size. And then there's the way it looked. The 444 sat high on a pair of large rear wheels, giving it unusually high ground clearance in the stance of a much larger tractor. Add a front-end loader, and the proportions become almost surreal. Suddenly, this little 14-horsepower machine wasn't just mowing grass. It could move material, push, pull, and take on work that normally called for a much larger utility tractor. That's what makes the Case 444 so fascinating. It wasn't trying to win a horsepower contest. Its trick was turning a small engine into useful work through hydraulics, gearing, and a purpose-built chassis. And when that huge rear-wheel stance is combined with a loader on the front, the result looks almost like a full-size tractor that somehow got shrunk in the wash. But we're only at number 6, and the next machine takes the garden tractor concept into seriously heavy-duty territory. By number 5, we're entering a completely different class of garden tractor, the super garden tractor. The Cub Cadet 982 was one of the machines that helped define that category. Powered by a nearly 20-horsepower Onan twin-cylinder engine, it was larger and more substantial than the typical garden tractor of its era. One of the biggest differences was its longer 51.6-inch wheelbase, which gave the 982 a noticeably more substantial stance. And with a 3-point hitch available as an option, the tractor could cross a line that most garden tractors never approached. It could work with mounted implements designed around a genuine Category 0 3-point system. Add the optional rear PTO, hydraulic lift, and independent front PTO, and this little Cub Cadet starts looking less like a lawn machine and more like a compact utility tractor. And that's what made the word super meaningful. The 982 wasn't simply built to carry a larger mower deck. It was designed around a chassis and powertrain that could support a much wider range of serious equipment. This was a garden tractor that could actually borrow some of the hardware and operating principles of a farm tractor, then shrink them down for the backyard. But we're only halfway through the list, and the next machine comes from a brand whose garden tractors became legendary for doing far more than their size suggested. By number 4, we're getting into the garden tractors that earned a reputation for being much more than lawn machines. Introduced in 1983, the John Deere 318 packed an 18-horsepower Onan twin-cylinder engine into a compact chassis. But the engine was only the beginning. The 318 combined hydrostatic drive, power steering, hydraulic controls, and a front PTO with a level of versatility that was unusual for a garden tractor. The real surprise was what you could put behind and in front of it. A Category 0 3-point hitch and optional rear PTO allowed the 318 to operate equipment such as a rear tiller, while the machine could also be fitted with a front-end loader, snowblower, blade, and multiple mower decks. Equipped with dual hydraulic levers up front and a rear lift rated at 640 pounds at 24 inches, the 318 didn't just carry attachments, it commanded them with serious hydraulic muscle. That's what makes the 318 so impressive. It didn't need a huge engine to behave like a serious utility machine. John Deere built the entire tractor around making those 18 horsepower useful. And this is only number 4. The final 3 machines take that same mini tractor philosophy and push it even further. By number 3, we're getting into machines that barely qualify as garden tractors anymore. The Allis-Chalmers 620 was part of the company's PowerMax line, and it was built with a much more substantial mechanical package than its compact dimensions might suggest. Its 19 horsepower Onan twin-cylinder engine was only the starting point. Coupled with a massive frame weighing nearly 1,000 pounds and a unique 3-speed transaxle backing up its hydrostatic drive, the 620 had the raw mechanical hardware to put its power to work. That combination is what made the 620 different. Instead of relying solely on hydrostatic drive, the mechanical gear range gave the tractor additional flexibility when the job demanded low-speed pulling power and serious torque. And the tractor could be equipped with a Category 0 3-point hitch, hydraulic lift, and other implements, allowing those nearly 1,000 pounds of tractor to become useful weight when working the ground. Compared with the John Deere 318 at number 4, the difference isn't simply another horsepower on the spec sheet. The 620 brought more mass, a different transmission strategy, and a much more substantial mechanical footprint to the garden tractor class. This was a machine designed to make a small engine work like it belonged in something much bigger. But if the Allis-Chalmers 620 is already pushing the definition of a garden tractor this far, wait until you see what made the final 2 machines so special. At number 2, we're looking at a garden tractor that took the mini farm tractor idea to another level. The John Deere 332 arrived in 1987 with a 16 horsepower, liquid-cooled Yanmar 3-cylinder diesel. And this is where the story connects back to our number 4 machine, the John Deere 318. Taking the proven chassis of the 318, John Deere dropped in a liquid-cooled Yanmar diesel, completely transforming its character. Instead of an air-cooled gasoline engine, the 332 delivered smooth diesel power, strong low-end torque, and that unmistakable 3-cylinder sound. Combined with hydrostatic drive, power steering, hydraulic lift, and a heavy-duty chassis, the 332 could handle mower decks, snowblowers, blades, tillers, and other serious attachments. What made it special wasn't massive horsepower. It was the combination of diesel durability, steady torque, and a compact chassis built to put that power to work. In many ways, the 332 wasn't simply a garden tractor with a diesel engine. It was a compact utility tractor that happened to wear a garden tractor badge. And now there's only one machine left, the most impressive mini farm tractor on this entire list. And at number 1, we have a garden tractor that may be one of the clearest examples of a machine that was never content to behave like a lawnmower. The JI Case 446 was produced from 1972 to 1988 and packed a 16 horsepower Onan twin-cylinder engine into a compact but surprisingly serious chassis. But the engine isn't what earned it the top spot. The real star was Case's HY Drive hydraulic transmission. Instead of a conventional belt-driven system, a hydraulic pump powered the transaxle, giving the 446 infinitely variable forward and reverse speeds across 2 ranges. And look at the hardware. Large 16-inch rear wheels, around 770 pounds of tractor, 2 hydraulic valves, and an 8-gallon per minute hydraulic pump gave this little machine a remarkably serious mechanical package. The 446 could also be equipped with a range of working attachments, including mower decks, blades, snow blowers, and optional rear hitch equipment. That's why the Case 446 takes the top spot. It wasn't simply a garden tractor made stronger, its entire design revolved around hydraulics, giving a small machine the control and working character of something much larger. And that's the real lesson from this list. These machines may have been built for gardens and backyards, but some were engineered with enough mechanical ambition to behave like miniature farm tractors. From humble lawn machines to miniature workhorses, these tractors prove that size doesn't always tell the whole story. Each one packed more muscle, durability, and ingenuity than its appearance suggested. Some disappeared into history, while others became collector favorites. But together they show just how far manufacturers could push the limits of a garden tractor. Which one surprised you the most?